Good evening, school board members, CCPS families, students, staff, and the Caroline community. Dr. Jawanda Rollins-Fells, Chair of the Board, would like to call our August school board meeting to order. It is my privilege to welcome those attending in person at Caroline Middle School, as well as those of you who are viewing on our CCPS YouTube channel. Each provides an avenue for you to receive information, have heightened education, awareness, and involvement. The school board is grateful for your attendance as we continue to move our school division in a forward direction as #OneCaroline. Again, welcome to the Caroline County August 8th school board meeting. Now I would like to ask the clerk of the board to please call the roll.
Mr. Adam Swanton, Student School Board Representative. Mrs. Nancy Carson, representing the Mattaponi District. Mr. Sean Kelly, representing the Madison District. Dr. Jawanda Rollins-Fells, representing the Reading Church District. Dr. Sarah Calverick, Superintendent of Schools. Mr. John Copeland, representing the Western Caroline District. And I am Lisa Stevens, Clerk of the Board. Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Mrs. Stevens. At this time, I would ask that you would please bow your heads for our invocation, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance with Mr. John Copeland. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to come to Caroline County, to this school board meeting, Lord God, to do the work that is before us of educating our students and caring for our community. We ask that you would be with us and give us wisdom as we make decisions that impact our families. We pray for the safety, the health, and security for all of our families and our board members at this time. And all these things we pray, amen. Amen. Mr. Copeland with the Pledge of Allegiance. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to address our agenda.
So moved.
It is my understanding that we've entertained a conversation about shifting some things so that our principals can do their presentations and then go ahead and be dismissed as we start for the school year. Is the board agreeable to that?
Yes.
Yes. Outstanding. With that, my suggestion would be to move Dr. Reed's presentation. That is the 2022-23 vision for the Lotus Academy, item E. Item F, the Kagan strategies at CMS. And are there any others being suggested that we move? I just have E and F as a note. That's correct. All right, so if you're willing to adjust your motion and the second still stands, is there any further discussion?
Nope.
All right, hearing none, we will move those right after. We'll move that after our awards and recognition accommodations. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And please excuse me, Mrs. Stevens.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mrs. Carson,
Aye.
Mr. Copeland, Mr. Taylor, Dr. Rollins-Fells.
The chair would also like to ask that item number C, the Summer Academy Extravaganza highlights, would also be moved up. Is the board in agreement with that as well?
Aye.
That's item C for information from the district.
Move it to after awards recognitions.
Correct.
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
Okay, I'd ask the clerk to please call for the vote.
Mrs. Carson,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Copeland, Mr. Taylor, Dr. Rollins-Fells.
Aye, the motion carries. Ms. Haley, Dr. Reed, if you would be prepared accordingly. At this time, we will ask for our Achieve 2027 Spotlight update. I'd ask that Dr. Monroe would please come forward.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, Dr. Rollins-Fells, Vice Chair Kelly, members of the board, and Dr. Calveric. We are #One Carolina, and of course, it is a plum pleasing pleasure to share this evening Achieve 2027 Spotlight, highlighting Goal 4, Talent Management, Key Objective 4.1, Professional Learning throughout our awesome and highly effective Teacher Orientation Week. We kicked off the week with letting our new teachers know that they are VIPs, as everyone who is currently enrolled, enlisted, and/or employed had to be taught by a teacher. Our new family members were reminded that when educating the minds of our youth, you must remember to educate their hearts in ways to be successful in school and in life. This message was anchored in the introduction of Achieve 2027. The multi-month process involved in the creation of Achieve 2027, All Things with Excellence, was presented by bringing our vision, mission, and core values to life by modeling how the #One Caroline family empowers a community of lifelong learners to be 3E ready, enrolled, enlisted, and/or employed. At this time, I would ask that Dr. Reed and Mrs. Haley come forth to share highlights from the week.
Good evening. This year, our school division was fortunate to gain a number of new teachers. We are excited about gaining these new members into our CCPS family, and we look forward to the great things they will do for our students, our schools, and our community. Mrs. Karen Foster, Director of Human Resources, welcomed our new educators and invited each building leader to the podium to introduce their new staff members. Dr. Calveric continued our welcome of new teachers by outlining what it takes to be a successful servant leader and educator. Dr. Calveric encouraged our new CCPS family members to surround themselves with marigolds, people who will positively bring out their strengths, motivation, and nurture them to grow personally and professionally. As a CCPS family, we want to be marigolds for the new flowers in our garden. Finding your marigold also involves our new faculty and staff supporting the physical and social emotional well-being of our students and themselves. At this time, Mrs. Haley.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. Our CCPS Teacher of the Year, Jamie Carter, gave inspirational words to motivate and educate all in attendance. She encouraged new teachers to create a peaceful atmosphere, love their students, and to become very compassionate about the work that they do. PLC, peace, love, and compassion. Those 3 words will truly foster the work throughout the year. Our instructional specialists planned and facilitated impactful team building activities that connected everyone on day 1 and set the tone of togetherness throughout the week. New teachers shared how they could integrate these activities in the classroom to build community. Other orientation highlights included the sharing and sharpening of knowledge, how we support all learners, what it looks like, and specially designed instruction for specific learning differences, such as executive functioning and auditory or visual processing. In the area of safety and compliance, teachers learned about Enforce 911, our app, and connection to immediately contact first responders in the case of a crisis. Our technology team, they laid the foundation with Technology 101 from the CCPS Expert Innovation Specialists. They learned of essential tools and programs to support their work in the classroom. Dr. Monroe will now share how our week was successful.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday contained a potpourri of curriculum resources and training. Supporting all learners through special education and collaboration was presented by Dr. Carter, followed by breakout sessions in all core areas, facilitated by our instructional specialists: English language arts, math, science, social studies, CTE, art, music, physical education, and media and technology procedures and protocols were covered, including creating and administering classroom assessments in Performance Matters by Mrs. Beth Hausler. Each afternoon, teachers returned to their buildings to work in their classrooms and to obtain specific operational and instructional supports from their building administrative teams. We would like to thank our sponsors, Atlantic Union Bank, Tricord Homes, Team Caroline Barbecue, New Beginnings, Just Desserts, and Grand Canyon University for providing breakfast, lunch, gifts, prizes, and partnering with the CCPS to add the perfect bow on the educational toolboxes built last week through the effective and creative work of the curriculum and instructional teams. We also want to thank our instructional specialists and new teacher support coaches for creating such an enriching experience for all involved. I have included a copy of the survey feedback for each board member to review as evidence and artifacts of how meaningful and prepared our new teachers felt after each session throughout the week. We are excited to share that we will build on the momentum from last week to make this week's teacher return even more spectacular. Let's take a peek at what's to come. After an amazing opening day to kick off Teacher Work Week this afternoon, tomorrow all staff persons in every building will experience interactive games to deepen every employee's understanding of our 5-year strategic plan. On Tuesday, we will start with Goal 4, Talent Management. Jingle will set the stage for benefit updates and standards and awareness of talent management goals. Wednesday will be Goal 3, Health and Safety. Inner Outer Circle and Fact or Fiction will heighten our knowledge of wellness as we maximize efficiency and safety for school facilities and assets. Thursday will be Goal 2, Relationships, as the DICE dialogue will help us to enhance our sense of belonging. And Friday will be Goal 1, Teaching and Learning, highlighted with Quiz Trade, deepening engagement, access, and opportunity with the focus on the CCPS profile of a graduate. We would like to let the board know and the community that we are ready and set to go for August 15th and can't wait for our students to return as we achieve all things with excellence. Thank you very much, and are there any questions?
Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, what a great update. Thank you, Dr. Monroe.
Thank you.
We will now have our awards, recognitions, and accommodations. And tonight, I'd ask that Mrs. Haley, Dr. Reed, and Dr. Calveric come forward as we honor our student interns from our Summer Academy. Ms. Haley.
Thank you. Great evening. Madam Chair, Dr. Rollins-Fels, Vice Chair Kelly, members of the board, and Dr. Calveric. I would like to recognize Caroline High School students who seized the opportunity to participate in our elementary summer extravaganza program this summer. CCPS offered summer extension opportunities to 16 years of age or older to support the academics and facilitate extracurricular activities for students in grades pre-K through 5 in our Summer Academy extravaganza. And while some students fell in love with the idea from their experience in working with our 5th grade students, if you remember that, through Junior Achievement, JA in a Day, or High School Heroes program, other students learned of a chance to connect with the younger peers while also being compensated for their time. Whichever route they connected to us through, we are ever so grateful and would like to recognize these students for their positive and impactful commitment this summer. Please come forward as I call your name. Supporting us at Bowling Green Elementary, Jaden Lewis. Michaela Silver. And A huge win. And not with us today was Josiah Henley. Am I correct? Josiah Henley's not here. Jasmine Lewis is away at college, and Shamia Stevens is also away at college. Then with Lewis and Clark Elementary supporting, we have Tyler Carter, come forward. And Delaney Thomas. Madison Zirkle, Ryan Cullivus, and Riley Wallace could not be with us today. From Madison Elementary School, we have Madison Craig, Emily Jimenez, Mariana Kenny, Mackenzie Carter, Megan Cullivus could not be here, nor could Victoria Lloyd, which I will also say that Victoria Lloyd is attending college in South Carolina and is looking to pursue a degree in elementary education because of her experience. Thank you, our student interns, for all of your support to our elementary summer academy, and most importantly, to our students and staff. Outstanding job. I'll make sure we get those. Thank you.
Thank you again to our student interns. Thank you to our new hires, and thank you to the parents for supporting your students. If for some reason you need to leave because you have another activity, you may do so at this time. So this is a nice transition period, and then we're going to go into the business. You're always welcome to stay, so please know that as well. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
The motion has been made and properly second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'd ask the clerk to please call for the vote.
Mrs. Carson?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Mr. Taylor? Mr. Copeland? Dr. Rollins-Fells?
Aye, the motion carries. The consent agenda is approved.
I'd like to make a motion that at this time, for the information from the district, that we move E to the first one and F to the second one.
Ms. Carson, if it's okay, can we go C, E, F,
Yes,
and then pick up with A and B?
yes.
Outstanding. All right. Well, in that order, we will invite Mrs. Haley to please come forward with Dr. Reed and the assistant principals for our highlights on our Summer Academy extravaganza.
Share and the Caroline community about this year's robust Summer Academy extravaganza. This evening's presentation will give you an overview of our elementary and secondary programs. Our assistant principals who led and supported the summer coordinators are here tonight to share in the presentation. Specifically, we will spotlight attendance, successes, and offer highlights by school. Once again, elementary students had the unique opportunity to attend Summer Academy at their home school, and we combined our secondary schools at one site to be more efficient with resources, considering the numbers. This was a gift of time to teachers and students as everyone was accustomed to their school's layout, routines, and procedures. A total of 329 elementary students and 82 secondary students participated in Caroline's first six-week Summer Academy and Extravaganza program. The extended 2 weeks were guided by the ARP Summer Learning Grant, which was used to increase resources for our students' highest level of success. We progress monitored each student and attribute our summer successes first to the specialized curriculum for English and language arts that was created by our instructional specialists. It included a pre and post assessment and daily lesson plans, which focused on reading, writing, and word study skills. Teachers were provided with a tiered math curriculum titled Moving with Math for K-8, which emphasized using manipulatives to build connections from the concrete level to the abstract level for math. The curriculum allowed teachers to stay focused on their instruction to yield high return on closing gaps and increasing student achievement. The data above shows over 50% growth in the areas of reading and math for grades K through 5 at each school. At the secondary level, based on students that were in attendance for the duration of the Summer Academy, 94% of our middle school students showed growth in math and English. Our high school students were successful in passing their history and science SOLs. Yes, and 96% of students demonstrated growth in English, while 92 had gains in math, which are outstanding wins for our students. Now, our assistant principals will spotlight their schools.
Thank you, Ms. Haley. Our Bowling Green Summer Academy program coordinators this year were Mrs. Jamie Pruitt, who is with us tonight, and Miss Ashley Dake, who was not able to be with us tonight. They were instrumental in the success of the program, and we are so excited to see their leadership skills soar within CCPS. BGE Huskies enjoyed a multitude of extravaganza activities, including sewing, music and dance, arts and crafts, yoga and fitness, STEM, and board games. They also enjoyed taking care of our outside garden, which includes chickens, turtles, and of course our school guinea pigs. Fifth graders enjoyed visiting CMS for Eagle Camp twice during the Summer Academy and then once with their parents. We know they will soar high as CMS Eagles. We were very blessed to have 6 CHS interns with us this summer, and as you all know already, we were blessed to have one, Miss Michaela Silver, joining our team for the 2022-2023 school year as a paraprofessional. We were very fortunate to receive an abundance of snacks from Caroline's Promise throughout the summer. It was evident that our Summer Academy and Extravaganza were a huge hit, as many of our Huskies begged for the program to continue until the start of our school year. I'd like to give one more huge thank you to our 2 summer school coordinators, Mrs. Jamie Pruitt and Miss Ashley Dake, for everything. They ran a smooth and successful Summer Academy for BGE. Please enjoy these pictures of our BGE Huskies enjoying their snacks, courtesy of Caroline's Promise, sewing with Mrs. Carroll during Extravaganza, and our 5th grade students heading to CMS for Eagle Camp. Next up is Lewis and Clark.
And thank you, Mrs. Thomas, and good evening. I'm Jeff White, Assistant Principal at Lewis and Clark Elementary. Our schools had very similar offerings, but there were certainly some summer highlights from Lewis and Clark Elementary. Jonathan Ramey, he's one of our 4th grade teachers and leaders, was our amazing coordinator for the 2nd year in a row. He was a trooper who effectively managed, collaborated, and organized many of the details for our Summer Academy and our Extravaganza time. We had the unique opportunity, as did the other 2 elementary schools, of collaborating with students from Caroline High School as they worked with our teachers and our students during both the Summer Academy time in the morning and in the Extravaganza time in the afternoon. They worked with small groups of students during instructional time focused on our reading and math skills, and in the afternoon they helped to plan and organize activities to give our students a variety of experiences over the summer. I do believe our high school students learned firsthand what it was to be a teacher of young students. Again, a special shout out to Mr. Ramey for a job well done. He collaborated with Caroline's Promise as well, and also the Fredericksburg Food Bank to provide snacks and supports for our students. Moving with Math was our math curriculum. This provided students with a path to connect concrete and abstract concepts with the use of formal lesson plans for teachers and many opportunities for students to use math manipulatives to ground their learning in mathematics. Now, here is our sister school down the street, Madison Elementary.
Thank you, Jeff. I am Lindsay Rose. I am the assistant principal at Madison. The Madison highlights were mighty. Collectively, we made an impact, and our students made substantial gains. Mr. Andrew Merritt, as an aspiring CCPS leader, coordinated our program most effectively. MES looks forward to watching him grow in his new position this year. Some of our highlights for our extravaganza, we did offer art and drawing. We had STEM or Legos. We did board games, kickball, basketball, which were both held in our gym or cafeteria if it was too hot outside, as well as computer coding and gaming. We do have a special thank you to our partners who sponsored snacks. A special thanks to Fox Insurance as well as Lifeway Services. They provided both snacks, and we ended up with an end-of-the-year pizza party for our Summer Academy students, which they thoroughly enjoyed. Another special thanks to all our high school interns who did a fantastic job leading extravaganza sessions and supporting academics. Many have expressed interest in education from this opportunity, which was really exciting to hear as they were leaving. Students enjoyed lots of hands-on learning in both reading and math to review concepts and further develop their skills. Students were excited to come to Summer Academy each day. MES Summer Academy students also had the opportunity of being our first students to test out our new furniture that was purchased for us this summer. The picture in the upper right-hand corner is an image of students collaborating using the new using the new furniture, Overall, our students maintained high engagement, delved into reading, hands-on math, and writing across the curriculum. Up next is Caroline Middle School with Miss Wheeler.
Thank you, Lindsay. Good evening. I am thrilled to report that Caroline Middle School was able to host the secondary summer school program. So we had the middle and the high school here, and it was led by an amazing coordinator, Miss Sandra Gilliam, who's in the back, that I'm very excited that is now on our Eagle administrative team as well. She did an amazing job keeping students engaged, building relationships with them, and encouraging all of our staff. You can see some highlights here. Moving with math, again, we used for 6th through 8th graders, and that was a huge success in that it was a real good asset as far as utilizing a growth measure for students and teachers being able to break things down for what the students needed. Our English program for grades 6 through 8 was developed by one of our own teachers, Miss McGee, and everyone who participated in the program passed, which says enough in and of itself, right? And then extravaganza time, which for some students, we know that's why that was their highlight of their day. They participated in lots of different things outside, some movies, and even we brought in a basketball mentor that was about 7 feet tall, and those boys I'd never seen them run harder. So it was a great time for everyone. And now I'll turn it over to Cavalier Nation, Miss Ward.
Good evening. At Caroline High School, over here at the middle school, students were provided the opportunity to earn much needed credits towards graduation. Students were identified for summer school classes based on end of the year grades in their core classes. As you can see, out of the 56 students who were signed up to attend, 11 students earned 2 credits, 18 students earned 1 credit, and 6 students completed the requirements and earned their high school diploma. At the conclusion of Summer Academy, students who completed their requirements for graduation were invited to participate in a special graduation ceremony. This is a significant moment in any student's academic career, and Ms. Gilliam did an excellent job organizing not just the summer school program, but graduation as well. Here you can see some of the pictures from that day. We are very proud of these students as they overcame obstacles and continue to persevere towards obtaining their diploma. And once again, we recognize and applaud our high school summer interns. They truly supported our elementary schools during the extravaganza portion of the day. While many were inspired to participate from the Teachers for Tomorrow program, or other high school students learned about the opportunity word of mouth and applied. We're looking forward to our students continuing to grow with our program and staying connected as they determine their next steps to be 3E ready.
Awesome. And I will just add on to this, just to say that our food service department did provide our students with breakfast and lunch each day. Our partners helped us with snacks. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? I have one question. I know it's burning in the community, is if we will have a 6-week summer school next year, or should we just stay tuned to find out?
I do believe we should stay tuned to find out. I will tell you, however, that the grant that we utilize required us to go for so many hours, so many days. That took us an extended 2 weeks. So that's how we got to the 6 weeks. We hear that it was very beneficial to our students, so we will please stay tuned.
There you go.
Okay.
Thomas, I don't know if we can push it past 6. I know that they were asking, the kiddos
Somebody
were.
said something about going to the beginning of the year. I don't know, but
Right.
it was great. Thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you. Thank you all. As they transition, Dr. Calveric, I just think it's outstanding the way we've built in leadership capacity with these opportunities to intern. So thank you to our principals for leading. Our next update will be from Dr. Reed with the 2022-23 vision for the Lotus Academy, and Ms. Keener as well.
Chair Kelly, members of the school board, and Dr. Calveric. Good evening. Caroline County Public Schools continues to have the goal of ensuring that all students can be successful. Lotus Academy serves as an institution to ensure that we meet this goal. As an alternative school, Lotus serves a unique population. This year, we are fortunate to not only have strong leadership, but a committed staff to serve all of our students at Lotus Academy. Tonight, Mrs. Darlene Keener, our building level leader, will outline highlights at Lotus from the previous school year. Moreover, she will present the shared vision for the 2022-23 school year. At this time, I present to you Ms. Keener.
Good evening, Dr. Rollins-Felds, board, Dr. Calveric, community. It's my birthday. It's Lotus Academy's birthday, better. This time last year, right, with just a glint in my eye, like any proud parent, we were talking about the upstanding of Lotus Academy. So, like any proud parent, I come to you tonight. I could wax on for a long time about Lotus Academy, but I will share with you tonight in just a brief 5 minutes, our highlights from this year and cast some vision for the future. Quick facts that we have listed here. To serve at a glance, 33 students were serviced this year at Lotus Academy. 10 or 30% of those students were students with an IEP or a 504. 12 were from the middle school. 18 were from the high school. 2 were fully home-based, and 1 was from elementary. While the majority of the students did come to Lotus Academy through code of conduct violations, we did have a significant number whose base school or parent initiated the process proactively. 21 of those students returned to their base school successfully, and 4 graduated 3E ready. Students and staffing, if we look at focus number 1, uniquely, and it is unique, to incorporate an alternative setting elementary school students. And we are striving to do that, and we were able to service 1 student this year in an excellent collaborative effort process through Madison Elementary. Another pathway to Lotus Academy is through the IEP process, and we were successful in our inclusion of students with an IEP. With my special education credentials, I served as the primary on-site monitor of these students with direct collaboration to their homeschool case managers. Academic success was strong at Lotus, with 125 student course credits earned through Apex, all with a C or better and all completing their courses. Very proud of our academic accomplishments. But educating the mind without educating the heart is not educating at all, so saith Aristotle, and we firmly believe that at Lotus Academy. Again, our mission is overcoming obstacles, building resilience, and empowering learners. Therefore, I'm famous for saying our programming must look different if we are to expect different results. So thankful to the outpouring and the collaborative spirit of our social workers, who included Lotus Academy once per week with highly anticipated interactive SEL lessons. Further, students did receive direct instruction daily in social emotional self-regulation strategies to build up their toolboxes. We extended the school day from 1 p.m. to 2:30 in an effort to allow an increased focus on SEL, and that's what makes Lotus Academy unique across the region. In our continuing evaluation of how best to instruct so many different grade levels at once, we're planning this year to work on an A-B day. For example, on an A day, they'll travel in small groups through English, math, independent subject work, and a new reading intervention program. Evaluations revealed that 90% of the students who come to Lotus Academy have an at-risk or critical need in the area of reading. Therefore, we have purchased and are instilling a strong research-based reading program for secondary students to be introduced this year. Then on A or B days, the students will travel through science, history, electives, and independent practice through their work on APEX. Much like this past year, in the afternoons, students will engage in 3E Ready programming and SEL strategies. And this upcoming year, we will introduce expansion of a rotation through our STEAM lab with hands-on instruction in science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics. So, to expand just a moment on the 3E Readiness Programming, we spent roughly 3 months on each E. We took a field trip to Germanna Community College. We researched colleges and the application process. We took some of those graduates and more specifically took them back to explore the technology, and one of those graduates got involved in the welding program through Germanna Community College. You've heard before about our amazing visit from the Aegis naval sailors and officers from NSWC Dahlgren. Such a great time. We had multiple guest speakers to include the parents of our students. One parent was the manager of the local Exxon station. She came and shared highlights. We had other representatives from banking and multiple careers to come, and that was a real highlight to our program. We also take pride in the development of our community partnerships. Early on, we wanted to explore the history of that school building. There is a picture in the trophy case, and it says, for $161,000, we proudly announced the opening in 1950 of that school building. So that was pretty exciting. Francine Whitaker from Caroline County Fair came and shared historical items and talked about how she had prom right there many years ago, and the kids just loved that. And we want to honor the history, the rich history of that building. We ourselves planted a time capsule to mark our first year, and we'll be looking to explore other opportunities to connect with our community. We were very blessed to have excellent collaboration and sponsorship of Second Baptist Church And River Rock Baptist Church Second Baptist donated breakfast foods, sponsored our Teacher Appreciation Week. And something I'm personally honored to share tonight is that on Sunday, Sunday about 11:30, they're going to bring as a body over to Lotus Academy, and we're just going to join hands and pray for the staff and students right there on site this Sunday. So just really enjoying our partnerships with the churches. In addition, to add to that history, we are looking forward to expanding to visit with the YMCA every Friday. For students who earn that, we'll go over and swim and exercise on Friday afternoons. And we hope to refurbish the pavilion out back to enjoy some community collaborative efforts. I will share with you then, on the very last slide though, the thing that I am very loud and proud about, and that is that Lotus Academy has been selected as one of 7 effective alternative schools in Virginia, and will be highlighted through the creation of a 30-minute film airing as an after-school special through your local VDOE webinars on September 27th. So I am a very proud parent, and I thank you for all the support. Any questions or anything?
Any questions from the board?
I don't
Mr.
have
Taylor?
a question. I just would say thank you, as I'm sure our chair lady would do anyway, but I just want to say thank you. And to the fact that we are highlighting students who have some issues. So often the students who have issues, especially during the summer, don't get a chance to get an opportunity to work towards a goal. And this was just splendid, because these children would have probably been at home doing whatever. And I just think the fact that they were able to do this is just a great thing. So I congratulate the staff in getting this done. And the other thing is, why is the freelance start not here? You know, I know too, but I wish, and this is nothing against the staff, it's just that if there had been a negative thing over there, it would have been in the paper. Somehow this needs to be shared. We need to be able to get this positive statement out into the community. So thank you.
Outstanding. Well, I think I have a question. We were one of how many schools in the state of Virginia?
It'll be 1 out of 7. They'll
One out of
highlight
7.
1 every month coming up the school year. So we're the very first
Outstanding.
highlight. So.
That is awesome. That is awesome. We do have, to your concern, Mr. Taylor, and Dr. Calveric, I think I saw you take a note. We do have a communication specialist, so we can craft press release and tell our story and put it out there. We'll make sure this one gets submitted as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will continue with our updates and move to item F and call Dr. Reed back up with the cake and structure at CMS.
Madam Chair, Dr. Rollins-Fells, Vice Chair Kelly, members of the school board, and Dr. Calveric. Good evening. A major focus of the Achieve 2027 plan entails providing engaging instruction to our learners. A second focus of our plan involves providing professional development to our teachers to support them in meeting instructional, behavioral, and social-emotional needs of our students. These goals run hand in hand in providing quality instruction for our learners and supporting teachers. This evening, we would like to outline our plan for implementing Kagan structures into the daily instruction of Caroline Middle School for the purpose of providing engaging instruction and how we will support teachers in implementing this initiative. We believe that this professional development will be a critical component in ensuring engaging instruction for students and developing our faculty and staff. At this time, I would like to introduce our Caroline Middle School administrative team, who will outline Kagan structures, how it is being implemented, how it will be monitored, as well as how success will be measured for this year. At this time, Principal Griggs.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back up here again to express our extreme excitement about implementing Kagan at the middle school. Caroline County Public Schools has a strong emphasis on student engagement with regards to instructional delivery. The implementation of these Kagan structures are directly aligned with Goal 1 Teaching and Learning and our Achieve 2027 plan in CCPS. Moreover, the implementation of Kagan structures also coincides with the profile of a graduate. The students are engaged in classrooms with Kagan cooperative learning structures. They are meeting the components of collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creative thinking while promoting and increasing individual as well as collective accountability.
Good evening. Quality instruction begins with engaging and meaningful interaction between students and teachers. Kagan structures are designed to enhance the communication and relationship skills to boost student confidence in the classroom interactions based on 4 principles. 1, positive interdependence. Each student has a specific role or task they must rely on each other to complete. Individual accountability. Students are rewarded for their own work. Equal participation. Roles are defined with equitable workloads. And finally, simultaneous interaction. Every student is required to engage in order for this to be successful.
Good evening. Okay, for implementation, in July, Caroline Middle School utilized a school improvement grant to support a training of teachers in Kagan. Following that training, selective CMS staff planned the implementation of Kagan structures for the school year. So for our pre-service week at CMS, there will be 2 90-minute sessions for teachers that focus on Kagan structures. The outline structures will include the core 4 structures that teachers chose. Those structures are called round robin, quiz trade, rally robin, and timed pair share. The reason that the teachers chose those structures is because to start, they were fun and engaging, and they were easy to implement, but they were also very effective. And you can also branch off of those strategies to create more strategies. This way, we could also get teachers using them right away, so they can implement them during the first week of school and so on. That was for our pre-service week. For our faculty meetings, the CMS Professional Development will focus on 1 new Kagan strategy each month. There will be time for teachers to reflect individually and in groups about the implementation of Kagan structures. So that will be our faculty meetings. And then for our department meetings, that will give us the time to focus on the specific content now. So each month, there will be more specific content focus for each strategy in department meetings. The focus on strategies that work better with various content. So something that works better with a science class would implement that strategy within their department meeting. So that is the implementation of our Kagan plan for this year. Thank you.
Good evening. Along with implementation, that goes hand in hand with monitoring. So we want to see that it's being effective in classrooms. So one of those ways is through lesson plans. So assistant principals, weekly or by unit, will review department lesson plans for use of and embedding Kagan strategies. Then when we go into do classroom observations, we will know the look fors. So we'll know what they have planned to use, and we can observe strategies in action. During that time, we can also offer feedback once the lesson's done, leaving the teacher an encouraging note, or have you thought about trying this, or did you notice this group might need to be split up a little differently. Along with that, if we're noticing as teachers struggling, we're right there to swoop in and offer them support. Be paired with one of the Kagan team members to give them additional strategies and help as needed. One of the exciting parts is that we are going to give out Kagan Kudos. So any administrator or teacher can put a sticker on a teacher's door that they used a Kagan strategy, and Miss Bryant is developing a very adorable sticker, if I do say so myself, to be using for monitoring purposes. And now Ms. Gilliam with success measures.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Kerverick. I can't wait to get my sticker. I just got excited, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm about to do the success of measures. So the ultimate indicator of success of Kagan strategies will be related to the impact of student outcomes. As such, Caroline Middle School will look at 2 key measures to engage the success of Kagan strategies. 1, student achievement outcomes. To improve instruction leads to increased student achievement. Teachers give common assessments. In addition, teachers also administer district common assessments. Finally, students will take standards of learning assessments at the end of the school year. The second is disciplinary incidents. There's an abundance of literature and research that connects engaging and meaningful learning to improve student behavior. During the 2022-23 school year, a large portion of discipline incidents occurred in the classroom. A measure of success will be to decrease disciplinary incidents in the classrooms. Thank you.
Thank you for hearing our updated presentation, a little bit more detail about the Kagan structures and implementation, progress monitoring, as well as success measures. Do you have any questions for us this evening?
Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, thank you for coming back. I know we asked a question last time, and so being responsive is really appreciated. Thank you so much. Looking forward to some great things from our Eagles this year. For knowledge for our public, this is our first week back, and so assistant principals and principals, if you need to go at this time so you can be rested, rejuvenated, and ready for tomorrow, this is your gift of time. Thank you all for your
Fells, Vice Chair Kelly, and members of the board. This evening, I will provide a very brief summary regarding the School Board and Board of Supervisor Joint Board Meeting, which took place on August 3rd, 2022 at the Caroline County Community Services Center. Specifically this evening, I will provide an overview of the joint workshop topics: FY18 through FY20 project update and chill water system request, Governor's Standard of Quality FY23 bonus due in December, instructional budget data, and CCPS school board office and administrative positions and regional comparisons. Per Code of Virginia, all year-end monies are returned to the local entity. For school divisions to access these monies beyond June 30th, a request for reappropriation must be submitted to the board. On February 9th, 2022, the Board of Supervisors approved by line item a series of one-time improvement projects totaling approximately $1.2 million. CCPS confirmed completion of all approved projects and requested that remaining funds of $252,129.27 be redirected from potential future roofing needs to payment of the emergency repair of the CHS cold water chill system. The Board of Supervisors approved the use of $241,000 for this purpose, which leaves $11,129.27 remaining in the FY18 to FY20 reappropriated CIP fund balance. All one-time capital improvement projects selected and approved by the Board of Supervisors at the February 9th, 2022 meeting have been completed by CCPS. The softball field project noted at the bottom of this visual was funded separately by the Board of Supervisors. The project is completed, however, there is currently discussion about light installation on the girls' softball field. The next topic of discussion is the FY23 Standards of Quality bonus. We will revisit this topic after audit completion in October. The items associated with the Standards of Quality bonus are as follows. The General Assembly approved a one-time bonus of $1,000 for all Standards of Quality positions in December 2022 using ARPA federal funds. The second item of discussion is per VDOE, CCPS has 381.98 Standards of Quality funded instructional and support positions, resulting in receipt of $411,201.47. We presented a variety of options to the Board of Supervisors to determine whether this would be a feasible completion of bonus delivery in December. Option 1. All CCPS employees, approximately 700, will receive a $1,000 bonus, and we requested the difference of the $411,201.47 to include a local appropriation of $342,348. Option 2 was to decline the Virginia Department of Education funding for the Standards of Quality only bonus of $411,201.47. Option 3 is to request $342,348 from Caroline County Public Schools FY22 year-end funds due to a bonus being a one-time event. And option 4, which was birthed during our joint meeting, is to verify with the Virginia Department of Education that the appropriated funds of $411,201.47 can be divided by all staff numbers, which would mean an equal but smaller bonus for approximately 700 employees. Again, this topic will be revisited after the completion of the audit for fiscal year 22. The next item of discussion was associated with the instructional budget. This was a revisit of this topic per a Board of Supervisor request. We reviewed a variety of past data. We identified the difference between adopted versus revised budget. We also looked at the annual budget process and differentiated between one year to the next fiscal year to ensure that there was clarity of understanding that we start at ground zero, that items do not carry forward in creation of a new fiscal year budget. And then the fourth item that was discussed are the variables that impact the creation of an instructional budget, such as average daily membership, sales tax, vacancies, substitutes, all of which can lead to an unknown amount of money remaining at the end of a fiscal year, which in turn leads to reversion funds. The final agenda item was Board of Supervisor data request. There were two specific requests made by Board of Supervisors, one associated with central office staff in relation to the number of central office employees, the types of positions, and a regional comparison. The second request was associated with building administration per building and enrollment numbers and regional comparisons. So as you can see on the right-hand side, the top visual provides a summary of CCPS central office staffing, and we found, based on the respondents of our survey to 16 regional divisions, that we are specifically well aligned with like-sized school divisions. And let me run through those numbers very quickly for you. With student enrollment, Caroline County has 4,300 students and a total of 38 school board office positions. King George, with a student enrollment of 4,297 Students has a school board office staff of 31.5. However, it is noteworthy that their county handles all of their finances, and so their staffing would be located at the local government level, not at the school base. Louisa County at 4,984 students has 40 school board office positions. Fredericksburg City with 3,413 students has a total of 41.5 school board office positions. Dinwiddie, which has an enrollment of 3,227 students, has a school board office staff of 40.16. And we did include King and Queen, which is much smaller, 5 times smaller than Caroline County, but they did respond, and they have 875 total students with 9 school board office staff. So if you multiply that by 5, then you would have approximately 45 employees at their central office. So as you can see, the summary results do show great alignment with like-sized divisions in terms of the number of staff members at each school board office. Item number 2 at the bottom of that slide outlines building administration and enrollment, as well as a regional comparison. These data points outlined that our CCPS administrative staff housed within our 5 comprehensive buildings, as well as our alternative education program, align with like-sized divisions. I also, before going over the data, think it's critical to point out that there are variances amongst each division. Each division has its own unique personality in terms of demographics, student achievement needs, CTE offerings, as well as alternative education offerings. And so this chart does not account for each of those qualities in all of the other divisions. However, it does note that Caroline County at 4,303 students has 17 total building administrators, one of whom is assigned to work-based learning and CTE programming, the second who is assigned, and you heard from this evening, Ms. Keener, as an assistant principal of alternative education. Dinwiddie at 3,227 students has 14 building administrators. Fredericksburg City at 3,413 students has 13 building administrators. Louisa at 4,984 students has 18 building administrators. Orange at 4,907 has 15 building administrators. Gloucester at 4,607 has 20 building administrators, and Culpeper, which is larger but still within a reasonable rural range of 7,388 students, has 27 building administrators. So when you look at the range of building administration, we are well within the median of this data sample. And that concludes the topics that were discussed while working hip to hip with our Board of Supervisors. There are a small number of follow-up items that we will respond to before the week's end, and those just were clarifications and a few additional data points. Any questions?
Questions or comments? Mr. Kelly?
For admin, because you talked about the SOQ positions, are administrations, do they count for SOQ positions?
Portions of the administrative positions count, but I would need to yield to our Chief Operations Officer to be more specific.
Good evening. You have assistant superintendents. You also have assistant principals and principals that are part of the SOQ.
Okay, so some of the funding then for those positions comes from the state as well, which would probably explain why our central office staff and our administration, the number of people we have, is very similar to like-sized school divisions, because they are also receiving a similar amount of money from the state as well for those positions.
Certainly. Some of your staff in central office, a lot of your staff in central office are also part of SOQ.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Kelly, just to expand on that, I do think it's important to keep in mind that standards of quality are very similar, to draw an analogy, like standards of learning. They are minimum competency requirements. So if a 400 is the minimum competency for standards of learning to pass, the standards of quality is the minimum competency of staffing. And so I do not know a division in the Commonwealth that staffs solely at standards of quality and can meet the needs of their demographics.
Any other questions?
I would ask
Mr.
if you
Copeland?
made that point clear to our supervisors.
I do believe that we have articulated that and that there is common understanding. I think we will continue to forge forward and have further discussion as questions arise.
Those are important things that they need to understand that we already know intrinsically, but they may not. So that difference makes all the difference in understanding our position.
Yes, sir. I'm hopeful that the data we just provided helps provide greater depth and breadth of understanding.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. I thought it was a really good joint board meeting. I tend to be a stickler when things are not right, but I do want to just publicly thank our finance staff. One of the things that I have been adamant about is when we come to joint board meetings, the finances have to be right and the numbers need to be reconciled. It is not proper protocol for us to come to a meeting where we are presenting data and to have data being presented at the same time that we've not had an opportunity to view. And that did not happen. I also thought it was great because there was clarity on the nuances of school budgets. Unfunded mandates, that is the thorn in our side. We are told that we have to do certain things, but they are not fully funded, such as the SOQ positions. And so I thought it was really good to put some things to bed, to put it to rest. And then in the community, I know for years, and this is just me being transparent, we have had a growing concern and in the community that we're too top heavy. There's too much staff at central office. How many folks are over there? And while we have done an alignment with job descriptions and roles, and we are aware of this information, it is important that we speak to the data and put it out there. So I'm hoping that this puts that to rest so we can focus on the work of educating our students. So thank you to the staff, thank you to the Board of Supervisors, and looking forward to many more productive meetings where we can come to conclusion on some things and have clarity. So those are my comments. Mr. Caldwell, if you would please come forward and provide us with the summer maintenance project. We know that there's a lot of work that has been done. And Dr. Monroe, if you could be prepared to go next.
Good evening, Chair Dr. Rollins-Fells, Vice Chair Kelly, members of the board, and Dr. Calveric. I am Christopher Caldwell, Supervisor of Facilities and Maintenance. I am pleased tonight to share with you summer projects the Facility Maintenance Department has completed or in the process of completing for the summer of 2022. During this presentation, I will showcase projects, answer any questions that you might have. Caroline Middle School opened its doors in 1992. Some of its original furniture was still being used in classrooms during the 2022 school year, along with some mixed replacement furniture that had been relocated or purchased throughout the years. I am proud to announce that new collaborative classroom furniture has been installed. School colors were selected for chairs, desk edging to bring the school spirit into the classrooms. The addition of new furniture has brightened up the classrooms and created a new collaborative learning environment at Caroline Middle School. Caroline Middle School at construction was also equipped with chalkboards throughout the facility. For this school year, the chalkboards have been removed and replaced with brand new dry erase boards. Madison Elementary School during the renovation was equipped with new furniture in all of the kindergarten classrooms. We are pleased to announce that all classrooms that were not equipped with new furniture at the time of the renovation now have new, vibrant desks and chairs that allow for engaging, collaborative learning spaces. Also at Madison Elementary School, the area directly behind the school where the learning cottages once stood has been graded to control drainage and accessibility. This improvement has opened the door for an availability of an outdoor learning space. Bowling Green Elementary, Madison Elementary, and Lewis and Clark Elementary, with the cooperation of CDI, which runs the Head Start program, have brand new age-appropriate playgrounds under construction to support our youngest learners in the Head Start program. Improvements include fencing, a trike path, and a playground sunshade. Caroline High School is currently undergoing HVAC repairs and improvements to the air conditioning system. This project includes the repair of multiple leaks found in the chilled water system, a recommissioning of the physical plant that will look at the system's sequences of events in both the chill water and heating system to provide a balancing of the water flow to ensure the system is operating at peak performance by design. Caroline High School is currently in the process of upgrading the generator in cooperation with Caroline County and the Caroline County Fire Rescue to meet emergency shelter needs within the county. This new generator is slated to be delivered on August 11th, with the entire project being completed by August 31st. In the process of the current generator at Caroline High School is being relocated to our school board office. Hallways at Caroline High School have been repainted during the summer. Missy did a fabulous job working without air conditioning due to system repairs. Her hard work and dedication to this project has made a gigantic impact at Caroline High School. We are very happy and proud to announce 3 new digital marquee signs have been installed. One at the school board office, one at Caroline Middle School, and one at Caroline High School. These signs have already been put into great use advertising school events and information. Thank you for your attention, and at this time I will gladly address any questions.
Any questions or comments from the board? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Kelly?
Okay, I have a quick question. Well, I have 2. First, who runs the signs? Because I know that that's not like before, because I used to have to do it in high school. You know, especially if it was raining, I had to go out there and change all the letters and everything. So who's in charge, or how does that work? Is there like a computer that someone...
It is a web-based program. I know that the principals were to be set up with access to the web base so that they can control their own signs. Brian Farmer also is doing a lot of them.
The man behind the curtain.
The man behind the curtain.
He just lifted his computer and showed it to me. All right, and number 2, I just want to say I went to freshman orientation, last week, and I thought in the spring the building looked great. I have never seen that building look better than it did when I went in for freshman orientation. Specifically, I forgot the lady's name who painted everything. Missy. That was the talk of the entire building, of how you working in that building with no air conditioning, and she did it all herself. But it looked great, and I just remember not too long ago going in there, and it wasn't a great situation. But I know it's not 100%, but the ceiling tiles looking like they did, the walls being painted, it was a very welcoming environment to all of the students who came in there. The grounds looked absolutely fantastic. Everything was mowed while we were there, which was great, and I was informed that it had been raining. Of course, I've struggled with that in my own house. But thank you to you and your staff for making that place look great, and really excited about starting the school year.
Thank you.
I have one more question. Is it slated for the 3 elementary schools to also get marquee signs Is that in the works for maybe next year?
I know there's been questions coming from the principals of trying to get them into into the CIP budget,
Yeah.
which is getting ready to kick off. So we'll see how it goes.
I think that would be a nice addition for all of them to have them also.
Mr. Copeland and then Mr. Taylor.
Chris, y'all been doing a great job, and I'm proud of the work you're doing. Have you been around to each of the buildings to ensure that all the exterior doors close and lock properly?
My staff has been tasked with that. I know I'm walking buildings this week, and I will be checking exterior doors as I walk by them.
Okay.
I know they've been definitely looking at them, and principals have been having staff look at them as well.
Later this evening, Mr. Copeland, we will also have a safety update from Coordinator of Safety and Compliance, Mr. Wick.
Thank you.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes,
If I may respond to that, we are currently undergoing conversations about moving forward with the investigative process. So for example, we are reaching out to neighboring divisions to identify their path, meaning did they receive local funding? Did they work with sponsorships from business? And then we will pursue bids from companies to determine whether it's something that we can continue to advocate for through CIP and or have to go a secondary route, which would be funding sources not associated with local government.
Any other questions? Okay. Ms. Stevens.
I just wanted to tag team on that also, that when we went out for architect and engineering RFP, we were thinking ahead and looking at that, and we already have contractors on that, or A&E, our architect and engineers that are specialized in field construction. So we already have them on contract as we move down the road in that path.
Mr. Caldwell, I have a question. If everybody else is finished. The water tower, who is responsible for painting that? Is that the county?
The tall water tower that's
Tall.
right out here, not the tanks that are outside.
No.
Okay, yeah, the water tower is the county.
Okay. If you could just take a look at that, I think it needs some painting. I don't know how far it needs to go before it's worth that haul, but it's sitting on our school property, so I'd like it to.
I
Look
probably
fresh.
see Joey on Thursday with the installation of the new generator. So
Outstanding. And just for board awareness, the CIP process, you will be communicating that with all staff. And so as folks come in and they're seeing all their new shiny things, if there are things that still need replacements, I'm going to say this publicly, this curtain on the stage needs to be replaced. There is a process of submitting those requests. And so I would just encourage folks, if you see something that you need, take it through the proper channels so that way it makes it through the board for decisions. So thank you, Mr. Caldwell. Kudos to your staff. And Missy, she needs to be nominated for an ABCD award. And then I got some painting that I need done, so.
Thank you very much.
She's awesome. All right, Dr. Monroe, we're going to keep it rolling. The introduction of Achieved, #2027. Followed by Mr. Wick.
Are ready to succeed in our mission and vision of Achieve 2027 as we engage every employee, family, student, and the Caroline community in ensuring their child and or children are successful in school and in life. Achieve 2027 began with a partnership with consultant firm Gaston Schaefer, who mapped out a timeline that was both impactful and feasible for all stakeholders. This collaborative effort involved over 9 focus groups, all superintendent advisory committees, input from our novice and teachers of the year, and the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. Interviews were conducted with the school board, curriculum and instruction and operation teams, and the superintendent. We had well over 1,200 survey responses from students, families, employees, and community members who provided valuable input on how best to meet the academic, physical, and social emotional needs of all students from now into our next 5 years. The steering committee, made up of faith leaders, business partners, representatives from all schools, students, parents, senior staff, and school board members, and numerous community stakeholders, took the information from the surveys and focus groups to create our vision, mission, core values, and our master plan of continued excellence through our 4 goals. 1 being teaching and learning, 2 being relationships, 3 being health and safety, and 4 being talent management. So let's start with our mission and vision. Achieve 2027, all things with excellence, starts with our vision of empowering a community of lifelong learners to be 3E ready, enrolled, enlisted, and/or employed. This vision simply means that it takes all of us, every single person and department, as well as the entire Caroline community, working as a team, as only teamwork will make the Achieve 2027 dream work. This happens through our mission of creating an inclusive culture where teaching and learning inspire and prepare students to become contributing citizens. As we continue to create a sense of belonging by engaging every family, we will see the growth and success of all students, regardless of their location, background, or socioeconomic status. Our success and the success of every student is anchored in our core values. Today, at our convocation, the entire Caroline Public School staff, teachers, and employees cheered as we gave an S for safety, a U for unity, a C for collaboration, a C for community, an E for engagement, another E for empathy, and a D for diversity. And we all shouted together that this stands for succeed. Each month we will highlight and recognize students who succeed in modeling our core values. The work that will drive our success over the next 5 years is clearly defined in our goals and objectives. As I said earlier, Goal 1, teaching and learning, will focus on academic excellence, access and opportunity, and the profile of a graduate. Goal 2, relationships, has 4 objectives: communication, teacher-student relationships, partners in education, and family engagement. Goal 3, health and safety, will capture wellness, crisis prevention and preparedness, as well as facilities management. And Goal 4, talent management, will focus on professional development, recruitment and retention, employee performance, and compensation and benefits. As we prepare for students to return, our goal is to ensure every day, everywhere, everybody achieves and pursues all things with excellence. This Achieve 2027 poster seen on the right portion of the slide will be displayed in every classroom in all CCPS buildings, in addition to the frame poster that will be at the front entrance and/or main office at all CCPS locations. This afternoon at convocation, all employees receive the bracelet and lanyard in your swag bag that you have on your tables. We encourage you to wear our red and blue bracelets with pride and enthusiasm, and your lanyard with a smile, as we are all walking billboards for Achieve 2027. Each month, we will highlight a core value and have a school board spotlight presentation to inform our community on implementation and progress towards achieving our strategic plan goals. We plan to give out carabiners, phone wallets, koozies, pens, and brochures to employees, business partners, mentors, students, and community stakeholders at events through the year, so everyone will know and show our new strategic plan, Achieve 2027. Additionally, as we embrace community engagement and awareness, during the first week in August, Caroline County Public Schools mailed out 12,828 postcards to all Caroline County residents, highlighting our new website as well as our new strategic plan. As we know, it takes a village to ensure all students are 3E ready. So we felt it was essential to let the community know why CCPS is an excellent place to work and a great division to educate your child. We also understand that awareness and marketing must be paired with accountability and progress monitoring in order to have measured success. What gets measured gets done, and we have built an accountability process for each goal and objective. As you may see, we define action steps, assign champions, identify resources, create a timeline of completion, develop measures, and schedule reports, and record completion of actions indicating goal achievement. For example, the measures of success for Objective 1.1, academic excellence, is assessment data, subgroup performance, on-time graduation, attendance, college and career readiness, gifted and special education representation, and 3E ready data. To deepen every team member's understanding of our 5-year strategic plan, all building staff will experience the same onboarding Achieve 2027 presentation. This includes custodial and maintenance, transportation, food service, support staff, and all instructional staff and administration. Construction and maintenance was trained last week, and transportation was trained today. All building staff will kick off training tomorrow with Goal 4 Talent Management as presented in the Spotlight. Wednesday will be Goal 3, Health and Safety, and Thursday will be Goal 2, Relationships. And Friday, following the breakfast at Wright's Chapel, we will celebrate and engage in Goal 1, Teaching and Learning. Finally, our newly released website is polished, professional, and efficient, requiring fewer clicks and ease of access to the great things happening in Sweet Caroline. We are in the process of selecting an administrator to be a champion of each of the 4 strategic plan goals. One of the first tasks of our administrative champions that I will facilitate is for each goal will be to collaborate with our instructional technology department to build an Achieve 2027 dashboard with data, videos, and highlights to allow the community and all employees to see how our strategic plan is moving CCPS onward and upward. Each month, a core value will be highlighted on our website and through all social media outlets to keep our strategic plan alive and celebrated. We will also ensure Achieve 2027 becomes the buzz in the CCPS community through the distribution of lanyards, bracelets, brochures, carabiners, cozies, and cell phone wallets in our upcoming events such as Homecoming, Holiday Parade, Professional Development Days, as it was this afternoon during our convocation. We plan to work hard today and every day to ensure our strategic plan Achieve 2027 works for all students, families, employees, and citizens of the Caroline community. We are #OneCaroline. And for that, we thank you. And are there any questions?
Any questions from the board? No, very clear. We're so excited. It looks so good. And I'm sure when we make our individual board comments, we'll share some kudos. Thank you, Dr. Monroe.
Thank you. And please do not forget to look in your swag bag. You all have everything, and some of the items have not even been revealed to employees and or the public. So you all have a sneak preview of all the goodies, okay? Thank you so much.
Outstanding. And thank you for the swag bags. All right, we're going to keep the agenda rolling right along. And Mr. Wick.
Good evening, Chair Dr. Rollins-Fells, Vice Chair Mr. Kelly, the rest of the school board, and Dr. Calveric. Safety is always a focus in Caroline County Public Schools, and with the school year beginning next week, we would like to highlight the safety measures it has in place to ensure the safety of our students and staff. The first thing is crisis plans, which we will look at here in a minute again. All schools have a crisis plan. It outlines crises responses for a variety of crises, such as tornadoes, fire drills, intruder drills. It is updated annually over the summer, and we follow DCJS guidelines in completing this requirement. As mentioned, we do drills every year in each school. There are a number of drills the schools conduct, from fire, intruder, and tornado drills, so students and staff can practice the steps to take in the event that an actual crisis occurs. In compliance with state regulations, fire drills are conducted once a week the first month of school and once a month thereafter. Intruder drills are conducted at least 4 times per year, and one tornado drill is conducted in March before the spring tornado season begins. Next is emergency services. CCPS has strong partnerships with the Caroline County Sheriff's Office, Caroline Fire and Rescue, and the Virginia State Police to provide safety and security for our schools. These entities communicate regularly, share safety protocols, and collaborate to develop and refine safety procedures. In addition, these entities work together to train one another in various aspects of safety. I've trained the Sheriff's Department on Enforce 911, and Fire and EMS trains our staff on the wheelchair lift for students on the second floor, and items such as that, stop the bleed, and other things. Locked doors. Of course, there's a huge emphasis on locked doors, even more so than there was previously. We have been emphasizing locked doors for quite some time, actually, but again, we're emphasizing those with some of the tragedies that have occurred. Exterior doors are locked at all times. Visitors are required to buzz in to gain entry at the main office. And main office doors are equipped with a camera so receptionists can identify who is entering their building. In addition, exterior doors are checked several times throughout the day, primarily by the SRO. The school staff is also trained to check doors as they go by them, and if they go out and come in, to make sure they are secured. Classroom doors are also to be locked at all times to increase the security of classrooms and the safety of students therein. School resource officers. As you know, all schools have a school resource officer at the elementary and secondary levels to promote safety and security. In addition, they build rapport with students and provide assistance to schools when appropriate. SROs must complete a certified training in order to fill this position. Caroline County Public Schools uses several pieces of technology to improve its security. One is Enforce 911. This is an emergency notification system that allows staff to use their smartphone to immediately notify the school and law enforcement of a potential threat. So they must download the app on their phone, and with the touch of a button, basically, notification goes out immediately. Stop It is an app that allows students to anonymously report threats or concerns they have for other students. Schools have or will send a letter to parents introducing this app, and it is also promoted by school counselors. In addition, when school is out, such as on weekends or holidays, Stop It provides 24/7 monitoring and will notify a school if a concern is reported. Also, schools have, sorry, I changed my slide there by accident. Schools also have security cameras in place at both interior and exterior locations, and school administrators and other personnel are provided two-way radios for communication, and of course the transportation radios have immediate access to law enforcement and emergency personnel. And finally, visitor sign-in. All visitors are required to sign in when they are buzzed into the front door, and if they are picking up a student, they are required to present photo identification before that student is released to a parent or someone on the pickup list. Of course, these individuals also must be on the pickup list before a student will be released to a parent. Thank you, and are there any questions?
Any questions? Clear and concise. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
You can go ahead and
Do you want me to
present
just go
your
ahead?
crisis plan.
Okay, crisis plans. You should have, the crisis plan should be in board docs for you to review. It is required for the school board just to review these each summer, and the safety champions at each school have updated these crisis plans for you to look at. So basically they're for your information. We do collaborate together as safety champions to determine how we want to refine these. We include law enforcement and fire and EMS in this as well. And once the final copy is approved, we share those final copies with fire and rescue as well as the sheriff's department.
I would like to enhance some of the comments that Mr. Wick has made to have you be aware that as we have been introducing the new strategic plan and covering Goal 3, which is health and safety, we have been spending quite a bit of time in stations and rotations. And one of these stations is a Plus Delta, which affords each employee the opportunity to list the strengths of the division and their workspace, as well as opportunities for enhancement. And so while working alongside our facility maintenance team, they mentioned that they would like to have further instruction associated with how to operate the AED units, the defibrillators, and to also know how to effectively utilize a fire extinguisher. So we instantly were able to take that feedback to Mr. Wick, and we are making plans with Mr. Caldwell that at the next professional learning opportunity for that team that we make sure they have exactly what they need. There was also an inquiry about CPR, and not necessarily full CPR certification, but what is required by teachers for licensure so that they know how to do compressions. And so those were 3 specific outcomes of just that one meeting that indicates this is time well spent.
That's good. Any other comments or questions?
I have one. Do SROs or nurses, do they have the availability of Narcan?
We do have Narcan in the school division. All nurses have that in their clinic. And so they, if needed, they do have access to Narcan, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wick, for your presentations and your updates.
Thank you.
And now we will have Marcia Stevens with our monthly updates on revenues and expenditures.
Good evening, Chair Dr. Rollins-Fells, Vice Chair Kelly, members of the board, and Dr. Calveric. I have 2 financial reports tonight. We are working on closing out the year and starting the new year. So I will present the post-year 2022 first, and then I'll go quickly into the July. So our year-to-date revenues for, or our post-year revenues, these are ones that have been received after June 30th, are $774,273, having us at, for operations year-to-date, $47,323,530.10. That is at 98.96% of our budget. We still have August sales tax accruals to accrue back and are awaiting those figures. For the special revenue funds, we have $88,436 for the month. We have $5.8 million for the year, or 38.51%. A lot of those are those ESSER grants, and we carried them over in the budget into the next year. With that, we still have several revenues on the grants that are working their way through BDOE approval, and so we'll still be posting additional grant monies into this fiscal year. So a total for the post year is $862,000, or 53.172 million at 84.39% of the budget. For our expenditures, since June 30th, we have spent $2.5 million, a total of $47.0 million, and we're at 98.32% of the budget. Special funds, $529,000 for the month, $6 million for the year, and 39.32. So total expenditures, we're sitting at $3 million for post year after June 30th, at $53 million for year to date, or 84.09%. We have received May reports from County Finance as of July 21st. They were received on July 21st. We have reconciled those and are awaiting additional. We will continue to post and make yearly payments or post-year payments into mid to late August, in addition to that sales tax revenues. I've asked the auditors for feedback. I'm not receiving quite much feedback this time. We do have the new auditor, so he just reiterates the tone at the top for strong financial controls, that he can see that. and that we continue to have our strong financial controls. They tested VRS and internal controls. So at this time, he is not giving us any feedback of the improvements that we need to make at this time. They will return in October. They also audited the schools, school activity funds. They have given preliminary reports to the principals as to feedback, and we will be discussing those and prior to a final report being made. I will present that final report to the board. Are there any questions on post-year financials?
I do have a question. So with the special funds, realizing that there are certain pots of money that extend until 2024 and beyond, will the percent of total received reach 100%?
Not during this post year. They will not reach the 100% because for one example, ESSER 3, I budgeted 5.6 million, not knowing how much we would actually spend this fiscal year. We still have 5 million going into the new year. So we budget based on not sure how much we're going to spend that year, and then we adjust the budget for 23 based on the spending that took place in the first year.
Outstanding. I know we review this each month, so that's a line that I've been watching to make sure we receive all of our money and that we're spending our money. So thank you for that clarification.
Yes, so as part of the close down, we ensure each of those grants that the revenues will match 100% of the actual expended.
Awesome.
It won't necessarily meet the entire budget, or it certainly will not meet the entire budget.
Gotcha. All right, thank you so much.
Okay, to move on to July report very quickly, we received $1.7 million in July for FY23. Of course, that's our year to date, since it's our first month starting out, so we're at 3.23%. As I have noted in here, there are no county funds transferred. I did reach out to them Friday, and they have responded with the entries today. So we will be getting those booked. They typically come in on the first of each month of the quarter, so July will be our first one. We will post that in July. For the expenditures for July in our special grants, we've only received food service expenditures and food service and textbook revenues for those, because of course we are just now working on the July reimbursements for the fiscal year 23. For expenditures, we have $1.7 million in July and 3.13%. In our special funds, we're at $417,000 for the month at 2.81%. Those will be the ones that we will be reimbursing this week. So we're at 2.1 million in expenditures of 3.06 for July. So, and that also includes just your payroll for your 12-month employees, as your 10-month and 11-month employees are in the post-year figures. Any questions on the financial reports?
Any questions from the board? No questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we will open the floor for citizens' comments. I will look out and around. If you are present, do we have anyone who has signed up for citizens' comments? Anyone wishing to speak? Anyone wishing to speak? Thank you so much. The citizens' comment period is closed, and we will move to our action item for this evening. According to the VSBA bylaws, Article 12, Section 3, a nominating committee will be appointed by the chair of each region at or prior to its annual spring meeting in any year in which there will be a vacancy in an officer position. It will be the duty of this committee to select a slate of nominees for the offices of chair and vice chair. Members of the nominating committee will not be eligible for nomination to any regional position, and the slate shall consist of no more than 2 candidates for each office and will be presented to the VSBA membership at the next annual fall meeting of the region. By a majority vote of the school board members, it should notify the chair of the region and the region members of an intended floor nomination prior to the fall regional meeting. It shall be the duty of every candidate to provide a written nomination approved by the candidate's school board and a signed letter from the candidate confirming willingness to serve. It is my plum-pleasing pleasure, as Dr. Monroe would say, on this great day, as Mrs. Haley would say, to present to this school board a recommendation of Mr. Sean Kelly's nomination for the VSBA Eastern Region Vice Chair. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve that nomination.
So moved.
Oh, I love it when you fight over it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Are we sure we want to do this?
I think he will represent us well. I will just say that I appreciate his service to this board. He has been here for how many years now? 11? 11 years serving on this board, and as the vice chair, when I am not able to be present, he has stepped up and done a wonderful job. So I have no reservation with this nomination, and he's smiling, so we should go ahead for it. Lisa, take the vote.
Mr. Copeland, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Ms. Carson,
Aye.
Dr. Rollins-Fells.
Aye, the motion carries. And Mr. Kelly, you will be our nominee for the VSBA Eastern Region Vice Chair. Those elections will be held in November. And so we look forward to hearing the results of that. All right, so that is approved. We will now move on to our board committee reports and comments, as we do not have any new business tonight. Mr. Copeland.
Well, our committees have been kind of quiet. It's the summertime, so vacations and just some smaller meetings. My comments are only that I'm extremely proud of the division, the staff, faculty. Everybody has gone above and beyond to create a great division. I talked to people in other places, and they've actually heard of us, believe it or not. So it warms my heart that we are providing a beacon for other divisions to follow. And basically, I came here wanting to make Caroline the envy of our sister divisions, and I think we did it.
You did say that, Mr. Copeland. Thank you for your comments. Mr. Taylor.
Just a couple.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Kelly?
Yes. First of all, thanks for the swag bag. I couldn't wait to put the lanyard on. So first, by the way, first up here. I'm very, very excited about Achieve 2027. Very, very excited with this. No news is good news. As Mr. Taylor said, we're not in the news a lot, and I texted these two ladies about us contacting the media, and I still think it's a good idea for us to reach out, and maybe, and I'm just one person up here, I'm just one parent, but I really like the cell phone policy in our schools a lot. I've had many teachers say they think it's going to be great, and I think it would be in our best interest to contact the media as we're going back to school, and other school divisions are starting this week. I think one of them actually started today. I think it'd be a good idea for us to at least reach out. I don't know if they would cover anything or not. As Mr. Taylor said, the joint meeting was great. I think that it was very productive for us, and I look forward to more meetings in the future. Vsba Eastern Regional Vice Chair. Thank you. Thank you. We'll see. I mean, we'll find out in November. Return to normal, please. Return to normal. Wednesday I start back to work teaching, and I got butterflies in my stomach right now, and I already know that I'm probably not going to sleep the next 2 nights. I know, and that's good. That's a good thing, and I'm really looking forward to getting back. Wednesday night is the block party, so please, please, please show up. We went last year to that. It was an absolute blast. And lastly, good luck to all the athletes that are out there already sweating it out in the 100-degree heat, getting ready as all the fall sports have gone back and all the clubs are getting started. Best of luck to every kid. If you don't make it, don't stop trying. Try again later and, keep working. That concludes my comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Mrs. Carson?
Thank you. I have a couple of comments. The new teacher breakfast the other day was just wonderful, seeing so many new people that are excited about coming. But I think the most impressive thing was the number of teachers that had been in Caroline and left Caroline coming back to Caroline. That was outstanding. And then Caroline graduates coming to teach in Caroline. I was so excited about that. That just warms your heart. And then the night out the other night, that was really great. I went to the one at Ladysmith Village, and they really had an outstanding group going on there. I mean, they had so many activities and people out there. It was very nice. The joint board meeting, I'm going to also echo. I thought it was the best board meeting, board to board, the most congenial that we've probably had in the last 7 or 8 years. Mm-hmm. It really was. It was no arguing. It was no back and forth. It was working together, not against each other. And it just made for a very makes you very hopeful for what's to come. And also, the Caroline Educational Foundation met in June, near the end of June, and we are going to continuing sponsor teacher grants as we've been doing, but we're also going to start supporting a new thing called Teachers as Leaders. People who are leaving Caroline County going into teaching, that we will support them with $1,000 for each year, but they have to come back and teach in Caroline to pay it off. And if they don't come back, then they have to pay us back. But we're working on that, and the program has grown so much in the last year that we actually have people that are going into education and want to come back to Caroline. So that was really exciting. So those are 2 of the ventures that we're doing for the next coming year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Carson. Mr. Swanton?
I just wanted to say football is continuing to prepare for our upcoming season. First scrimmage is on the 11th. Not sure when or where yet. I also wanted to extend a thank you to the doctors and other personnel who came out last month to do physicals for our Caroline athletes. And then later this week, the Caroline High School is doing their open house on the 10th, I believe, 5 to 7. That might be the block party. I think it's 3 to 5.
Thank you, Mr. Swanton, for your updates. And last but not least, I am excited. This is the part where we each get to speak our own voice. Let me just tell you, I am bubbling over because Achieve 2027 is phenomenal. Parents listening, just know that we are coming for you. We had a convocation today with Dr. Constantino, and what he said was really profound. If we had figured out a way to educate our children without parents, then we would have done that already. And so I'm excited that that is part of our focus. So parents, look for ways that you can engage. I am putting out a public challenge. Our PTAs should be running over. So make sure as the school year begins, you sign up for that. I want to give some kudos out to the custodians for these shiny floors. We come in, you can see your reflection. The fresh paint is amazing. The bathrooms are looking great. Thank you to the maintenance staff for cutting the grass and making sure that as we're beginning to have parents come back, that you're keeping up with that, even in the midst of all of the weather. The marquee sign at the central office, it looks so professional. I kind of missed the pencil, but you know, I'm dating myself as well. Move on. And earlier we talked about the CTE request. When you come in and you guys, as you walk through the buildings and see these new student desks and cafeteria tables and chairs, it just feels so good to make sure that our students are coming in and they see something new. So students, you are being held accountable to keep the stuff looking good, okay? We don't want to be writing on it. We want to make sure that we take care of it because it is here for you. And furniture is not something that we replace every year. So let's get some use out of it. I want to say thank you to our admin team and especially to Caroline Middle School with the leaders under Dr. Reed's direction for having courageous conversations and transparency. I repeat again, parents, we're coming for you to support all that's happening with that. To the tech team in the back and those who have worked on the website. Oh my goodness, one click gets you where you need to go. Is that Mr. Robinson? Because I kind of feel that that's a Mr. Robinson thing. Kudos to you, sir. I know you prefer to hide in the background, but we got to give you a shout out. That website is phenomenal. I also want to say big kudos to the Booster Club. We had an opportunity to go to concession stand today. It is clean, it is pristine, and it doesn't matter if you have cash because they accept Cash App. So you just need your cell phone. So we're going to make sure that we're raising all this money for our students. And then to the county, please note that in the consent agenda, although we did not discuss it, we did put a universal broadband resolution in there, which was a request. So schools are supporting that. And that is just an opportunity to showcase how we continue to work together. As the board said, it was a wonderful joint board meeting. We have been working together for some years now to work out the kinks, making sure that processes are no longer gentleman handshakes. It's not a common understanding around a table. If it's not written down, it didn't happen. So we make sure that it's documented. We are providing an update so the minutes match. And so when approval is granted for money to be appropriated, both of our books are showing it. And thank you again. I did note, Mrs. Stevens, that we are reconciled with the county. May reports have been received. And so we are closing the gap on that. And that is just a phenomenal job. To our superintendent, assistant superintendent, and directors in the room, you better get ready to rock and roll this year because we have addressed the cosmetic stuff. We have addressed the capital stuff. We are talking about our parents, so now let's just get in here and do what we do, and that's teach and learn. Those are my comments, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to the superintendent.
Thank you, Dr. Rollins-Fells. I do want to draw our attention back to a comment made by Mr. Kelly. I wanted to let you know that we did indeed reach out to the Freelance Star in relation to our cell phone policy, and we have heard back from our school reporter, and she indeed is going to create a brief for the paper, so stay tuned. There are a number of amazing events coming up within this school week. And so I want to take a moment just to remind our community of the opportunity to engage in conversation with school employees and parents and students. So I will start with CMS hosting 6th grade only open house tomorrow, Tuesday, from 3 to 6 p.m. CMS and CHS will host the 7th through 12th grade open house event on Wednesday from 3 to 5. Immediately following open house on Wednesday is the CMS CHS co-hosted open house block party. That runs from 5 to 7, and we will be accompanied by a number of businesses and vendors on the track and in the parking lot area. So please come out hungry and ready to have great conversation with colleagues as well as community. We also have elementary open house for Bowling Green, Madison, and Lewis and Clark on Thursday from 4 to 7, and we look forward to welcoming our elementary families. We have a Wrights Chapel breakfast for all employees on Friday. So Wrights Chapel is just one of numerous vendors who we have partnered with throughout these past 2 weeks, not only for school supplies for our students, but for food offerings at a variety of events. And so we cannot do this alone. And it's truly an example of the #OneCaroline motto. You heard that we attended as a board and as leadership the summer VSBA conference. I do want to give a shout out to Dr. Monroe and Mr. Joshua Just, principal of CHS, who presented a roundtable topic on growing student leadership, which was very well received. We also want to say thank you to Mr. Childs, who drove a team of mascots and central office folks around on National Night Out, while the Caroline Cruiser did not want to complete the tour and chose to have a brake issue. We were very blessed by stopping at Mi Jalisco for the arrival of a new transportation vehicle. And in that time, Mi Jalisco generously donated 2 large bags of chips, salsa, and dip. And so we want to just give them an amazing shout out for that donation during our time of need. But we very much enjoyed visiting 6 different locations, and we hope to continue this tradition with our mascots. In these sweltering conditions, we thank Shelby Foltz, Zach Foltz, Rob Dudley, Katie Anderson, and Monica Lopez for donning the mascot costumes in about 95-degree temperatures. So shout out especially to Monica. She was a first-year teacher. It was her first day of employment, and she jumped into a vacancy due to someone becoming ill and hopped on that bus with the big boss and the little boss and a number of other folks and did a bang-up job. So thank you. I also just want to reiterate what an amazing collaborative effort today's convocation was. We so enjoyed Dr. Steve Constantino's message on 5 simple principles to engage every family and how we can harness the power of family engagement as a direct conduit to student achievement. So look for more on parental engagement. And again, we have a number of events coming up. Please be sure to check our new website and let us know of any enhancements you would like to see. At this time, I yield the floor.
Dr. Calveric, what is the first day of school? We need to say that for the public.
Oh, absolutely. Our first day of school is Monday, August 15th. Monday, August 15th, those wheels on the bus will be moving. So if you're a car driver, just be cautious. Look for those flashing lights, and we will be here eagerly awaiting your children's arrival.
Outstanding. So community action, if you have a neighbor and they have some little kids, they should not be running around after August 15th. Put in a call, tell them to get registered at school, and please know that buses will be rolling August the 15th. So please govern yourselves accordingly. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to go into closed session for the discussion of the superintendent's personnel agenda of appointments, resignations, requests for family medical leave, as authorized by Section 2.2-3711A, subsection 1 of the Code of Virginia, 1950, as amended.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Any discussion? Let's call for the vote.
Mrs. Carson?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Mr. Taylor? Mr. Copeland?
Aye.
Dr. Rollins-Fells?
Aye, the motion carries. We will now go into closed session. Thank you for those in person, and thank you for those watching online.
Good job, Chris.